Go tell me. Hello, guys. Welcome to this live session. I hope you all can hear me. Please let me know on the chat if you can hear what I'm saying. It's my first live session. Super excited to be here. Yeah, I'm super excited to be doing this live, guys. It's the first one. Yeah, I'm super excited to be doing this live, guys. Yeah, so sorry about that feedback if you had it. All right, so just a brief introduction. Thank you for being here. My name is Doreen. If you have not come across this channel before, I do videos on personal development, growth, productivity, and all those nice things that bring us closer to being who we were meant to be, who God created us to be, like becoming better versions of ourselves. So that is why I do these videos, because I have seen the impact it has had in my life. And I know for sure that it's going to help someone else. So that is the reason why I do this live. That is why I am doing this live today. This is why I am taking the risk. Is it the risk? I don't know what to call it, but it's the first time I'm doing it. So yeah, it's quite scary and exciting at the same time, mixed emotions. Let me know on the chat, engage on the chat, and let's see where you're connecting from. The title, or rather the theme, was supposed to be a very cozy session. So I hope you have your blanket, your cozy blanket, your fleece. As for me, here is my tea mug. Yeah, just to warm up the place and just to, keep me active. Right, all right. So welcome, guys. Welcome on this platform. Um, and just to start us off, I was so scared when I thought of doing this live, you guys. Let me tell you, I was so scared. It seemed so far away when I was planning it, and I have battled with it for the longest time. That's why I was asking you in some of the videos that I did previously if you guys would want a live, and that is the reason why I kept doing it. I kept asking you for feedback just to know if that's something you would be interested in. And the comments that I got from you guys were so encouraging. And here we are. So thank you so much for your support. Um, so bear with me if you see any weird reactions on this on this live, because I'm still figuring things out. Yeah, but that said, I think I've said why it was very important for me to do this, just to encourage you guys and to let you know why it's important for me to do the live, why personal development is so big for me, because I have seen the impact that it has brought into my life. I got onto this journey in 2019, around 2019, and just to give you a brief story, there was a time I was doing an internship in a place, and the people who were there had gelled so much. And I remember wanting to connect with them, feel part of the community, like part of that group. And for the longest time, that didn't work. And so I was like, hey, why is this happening? And I had just come from a place, like I had come from a new place, like I moved into this other new place, and now I feel so secluded. I feel so alone, and I'm trying to fit into this space with these new people, and there is no connection. And I remember asking why, like, why can't I fit in, and why is everyone like not accepting me to be part of their circle? I know, right? Talk of desperation, guys. Yeah, but at that moment, I remember making a prayer that, hey God, I need friends in my life. I need people who can accept me, people who are going to embrace me, and just, we can find a community together where we can grow, inspire each other, learn from one another. And that happened somewhere along the way. I dropped that idea of wanting to belong because I saw how desperate it made me feel. So I had to drop it at some point. And I think that's where the journey began for me. And as you'll see on this channel, if you are a true follower of this channel, you will see and you'll hear some of those stories as you watch. So if you haven't watched some of my videos, feel free to go watch them and comment and let me know where you are at in your personal development journey. Yeah, so the other reason I did this live was to just challenge myself. Thank you so much, Dante. I see you. Thank you for the love and for being here. Yeah. So one of the other reasons that I did this live was to challenge myself, because I knew I have this strong feeling that the future that's ahead of me calls for a lot of participation with engaging with groups of people, talking about personal development. So I took this for me to be a challenge, like a stepping stone to tell myself, if you can do this, then it means even other events with huge crowds, large crowds, is going to even be easier. So that was one of the things. It's going to be challenging, but I can do it. Yeah, so that was the other reason why I did this live, to challenge myself, to push myself and do it. You know, yeah, because if something is done, it means there's so much potential even to become better at it, right? That's a challenge. So if you guys want to pursue something, I mean, there's always the first step to doing that thing. That's where you begin. And for me, engaging with a huge audience and having the stamina even to speak for a longer period of time, this was one of those challenges for me. And that's why it was also important to do the live. Um, I just wanted us to get to know like some of the basics of personal development, and I know we'll cover them as we go along the video. Maybe some will be mentioned in details, others not. So just whenever you feel like something is important for you, make it a point to note it down, because I know there's a lot to unpack in this video. It's gonna be a cozy one. So please call your friends, call anyone you feel is gonna benefit from it. Just tackling anything really there is to do with personal development. And I really want to see your comments on the comment section. Engage in the chat so that I know we are together. And I know, like, just let me know some of the questions that you have in regard to personal development. What are the things that you've battled with when it comes to personal development? Yeah, just engage. Let me know. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining in. I see Levi, I see Mary. Thank you so much for the support. The basis for this conversation is a poll I did on Instagram. I did a poll, I think, somewhere at the beginning of this week, where I was asking people, what's the greatest challenge to personal development? What is that one thing that hinders you when it comes to personal development? And I gave some options. The first one was inconsistency, as in you start on something and you don't have a follow through for it, so inconsistency. And then the other thing was lack of resources, as in you don't know where to go to if you would want to get on that journey. You don't know, where do I start, who do I engage with, some of those things. So that was the other option. And then the last one was never really thought about it. And actually, to my surprise, there were people who picked that as an option. There were people who have never really thought about personal development. And I knew for sure that there is a need to shed light on this conversation, because for us to prosper or become good at anything, really anything, in our career life, in our marriage or relationships, or any other place that we would want to get into, it all starts with our personal development. How good are you? How aware of you how aware are you sorry how aware are you of where you are, and your challenges, your weaknesses, your strengths? Like, do you know yourself? That's where it all begins. What are your values? What are the things that govern you? What are your triggers? Some of those questions are the things that we need to be talking about in our personal development journey. Yeah. And as we look ahead and see, personal development is really an ongoing process. It's something that never comes to an end because I myself am still on the journey. So it's something that is always ongoing. It's something that we can never outgrow or be like, now I am here, I have hit, I have attained personal development. It's not a place we arrive at, it's a journey. Yeah. And in that journey, you are learning how to set goals, you are acquiring new skills, you are getting knowledge on different topics, you are improving your behavior, you are cultivating like a positive mindset, your values are changing, your attitudes toward life are changing, for the better, of course. So when you think of personal development, that is basically what the definition is. Yeah, I see. I'll be going through the chat once in a while just to see. And Mary tells me she's joining from South B. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lucia. I see you. Kiambu Road. Thank you. John joining from Mombasa Road. Thank you. Thank you so much for the support. Yeah. So that was the basis for this, the poll that I did on Instagram. And it was just exciting to see what people think about personal development. And some of the results that came from that poll was 71% of the people. So there were around 60, close to 60 people participated in that poll, and 71% of them were inconsistency. That was their reason for, like, that was the biggest challenge for them when it comes to personal development, inconsistency. And then 21% was lack of resources, you guys, lack of resources. And then 8% of them never really thought about it. So those were the results from the poll that I did. Yeah. Um, oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much, Marianne. I see you. I see you. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, so that was the result from the poll I did. It's interesting just to see. And the fact that even people thought of participating in that poll, for me, it was so encouraging because it shows there's a gap, there's a need for people to grow and improve on themselves and become better versions of who they were made to be, right? So it was so encouraging just to see even the results that people were sharing. And and as we continue, I wanted to encourage some of my fellow ladies who are here, and not because I am discriminating the guys in any way, but it's just because most of the people who watch this channel, like a good percentage, actually are women. And there's a book I have been reading. It's called Play to Win. It's by a lady called Rachel Donaldson. And no, sorry, Donna Richardson. I mixed up the two names. So this lady was talking about how women have a lot of strength when it comes to relationships, but for men they are strong when it comes to networking. So ladies have their this strength, and then the guys are here. But how can ladies leverage on those strengths? Like the things that make them women. How can they leverage on them so that they are also winning? It's a game, the business game, whatever kind of challenge that is out there. How can they participate and use some of the skills they have learned from their fellow guy colleagues, and just win as well. Yeah. So the strength for women is relationships. So how can you woman who is good at creating relationships and building and nurturing it, how can you leverage on that to build on your network? Because for men, it's so easy for men to connect with people they've not even met in a long time, right? You'll find men they've not met for 7 years or even 10 years, and they can easily pick up the phone and call a friend and be like, hey, I'm looking for a job and I've seen you on LinkedIn and you are doing this and this. And it's easy for them to flow with that conversation. For the ladies on the other end, it's hard for them because they have to think about relationships. I haven't talked to this person in 20 years, right? Okay, now I'm exaggerating. In a while, but I can't just randomly call this person who I have not been in touch with for the longest time and ask them now for a favor. You get. So her point in that book was since you are good with relationships, how about you nurture those relationships to give you that kind of a network of, someone you can call for a favor. It becomes so easy for you to call on someone. Why not build on that relationship so that it becomes valuable for you when it comes to a job search, when it comes to you wanting to improve on your skills or different things, really. So leverage on your power to create relationships so that your network is rich. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so that was one of the reason I thought of encouraging my fellow ladies on this channel and anyone who would join the live, to let you know that you can achieve more if you leverage on some of your strengths so that you build a network that is beneficial for you, a network that makes you better and makes you rich. Yeah, and also she talked about confidence, and I thought that was such a strong point because you see, when a man walks into a room, he's so confident. He knows, I'm going to speak about this and this. I might not have like the skill. I might not be able to deliver exactly what is being asked, but the confidence with which they show up, you, even as a business person, is very quick to give them the opportunity, as compared to a lady who speaks with a lot of tentativeness. For ladies, how we speak, we talk of um, I'm not sure about this, but I think we can do this. What do you guys think? There's a lot of um unsurety. Is there a word like that? Like, you're not sure of what you're saying, but for the guy, he'll be like, I think this and this can work if we leverage on this, if we do this and this. They have some sense of confidence in them. So I wanted us to be inspired as women you know to do things with a lot of confidence. We might not have the whole picture clear, but if we are confident, it's easy for us to achieve the same as men, right? Yeah, so let's look at some of the benefits of that. Was just that, by the way. I felt it was important for me to mention that, just because most of the people that watch are ladies, right? And thank you so much for your support, guys. Thank you. I truly, truly appreciate your presence and the encouragement that you keep giving. Um, so back to personal development. When you talk of personal development, it covers a lot of dimensions of life. It covers our physical, it covers our mental, it covers our emotional, spiritual, and even ultimately the goal in life, as in to have a meaning in life. All these things are covered in personal development, right? So, and that's one of the things that we talk about a lot in this channel, becoming a better version of you, because you are addressing all these aspects of life, right? And the guiding verse for me when it comes to this channel, as in the verse that really has stood out for me for some time now, let me not say for the longest time, but for some time now, is a verse from Psalm 90 verse 12. And it says, teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. And for me, once I thought about that verse in a new light, it has been really inspiring to see. And the one who wrote this psalm, by the way, is Moses. Moses was telling God, the life that we live on this earth comes to an end so quickly, and we might not even get to some level, we might not get to some age, but the time that we have on this earth, please teach us to number our days. Teach us to see the how life is so fleeting. The number of our years, how they just move on so quickly, so that we can gain a heart of wisdom. And for me, a revelation I got from that was, gaining a heart of wisdom is learning to acquire these now skills that we are talking about. Gaining a heart of wisdom is wanting to create new values for yourself. It's wanting to align the life that you are living to the values that you say you have. Actually, today we had a discussion. If you're watching this, I don't know when today will be for you, but we had a discussion about values, and you were saying, if you don't live out your values, those are not your values. If you say you're a person who is honest and you are cheeky when it comes to some things, then honesty is not your value, right? It's not something you live up to. Yeah, so personal development covers all these things. It makes sure that you can stand and be confident of the values that you live by, the values that you say, this is what I live by. Yeah. So that's one of the things that personal development does for us. It helps us to understand, how to improve our life in all these dimensions, how to become a better version of ourselves. Yeah, I want to know so far, how are you finding this live session? Let me know what you're picking from it. Let me see your reaction from it as we look further into some of the benefits of personal development. And we are coming to the findings of our poll. We are coming to address that. I just felt it's important for us to know the benefits because we've seen the definition of it. So how do you benefit if we walk on that journey, right? And the first thing for sure is becoming self-aware. When you are into personal development, when you are on that journey, you become self aware because there's a lot of reflection that comes with personal development. You get to make better decisions because you are now self aware. You know the things that would not sit well with you, of course, based on your values. You know what would not be right to say to someone, you understand where do I go and where you know where to be and where to say no to, most of those things, because there's a lot of self-awareness. If I go to this place, I might be triggered in this way. If I say this thing, it might hurt someone in this way. So you are so self-aware. That's one of the reasons that I truly advocate for personal development, for us to be self-aware. Because I don't know how many of you journal in this session, the ones who are here so far. Let me know if you're the person who journals and writes pages and pages of on your journal. Oh, thank you, Marianne. I see you're loving it. I'm learning quite a lot. Lazarus says the results of the poll are quite relatable. Perhaps I may add procrastination. That's a good one also. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, so how many of you journal? Me, I'm the journaling type. I journal. Let me tell you, I can journal for like 3 pages, of which it relieves me a lot when I am done with it. I feel so relieved once that session is over. And it brings a lot of self awareness. I want you to know that self awareness is where everything begins. And I believe I believe personal development is also becoming self aware, right? You can define it that way in some sort. The other benefit of it is that it makes us more confident because as we are looking at the definition of personal development, we say that it covers all these dimensions of life. It covers our physical, our mental, our spiritual, and we say that it's a journey, it's an ongoing process where you are acquiring new habits, your attitudes are changing, your mindset is shifting. So there's a lot of benefit that is coming from personal development, right? So as you are able to tackle challenges, as you get to new levels of challenges, you become more confident once that thing is resolved, right? Once you're done with it, like, wow, I can actually achieve this. If something even worse than this comes next time, I'm able to, like, to resolve it. So it builds a lot of confidence in us. That's another benefit of personal development. Oh, thank you, Liva. I see you're the journaling type. Thank you so much, Safiri, for your presence. Thank you guys for joining in. Yeah, the other benefit is resilience. And I feel that if you are overcoming all these challenges, if you're going through all these challenges on your personal development journey, and you are able actually to come out of the other side stronger, there's a lot of resilience that comes out in you. I can actually sit through the hard times. I can actually pull through, no matter how tough it is, no matter how this decision is hard to make. I have made tough decisions before. So it's easy for me to come through this other one, right? So there's a lot of resilience for you, and you have that fighting power. I think it builds in you a fighting power. For example, when you have like a breakout with a friend, maybe your family, and you are able to resolve it, the next time something like that happens, you know, this is what hurt my friend, this is what hurt my family, and that is how I can go. This is how I can go about resolving the issue, right? So I think resilience comes about the more you work on yourself, the more you understand, if I push myself a little further on this issue, I can actually achieve what I want. If you are into creating goals and vision boards and those kind of things, you know, if I persist just a little bit, I can actually achieve these results. So I feel it builds a lot of resilience in us. And then the other thing is that it builds relationships, because at the end of the day, you are a social being, right? You are a person who interacts with people, and you can't exist alone. You're not an island. So it builds a relationship in this sense. Your communication is a skill, right? So if your communication is being improved every day, you are learning how to learn to pick up the emotions, emotional intelligence, the emotion of the people around you and how you can respond, according to those emotions. You can read the room, in other words. If that is possible, if you can do that, it means your relationships become better because your communication skill is improving, right? Um, Before we proceed, as you had seen on the poster that I shared, if you saw it, it's supposed to be a very cozy session. So I don't know how many of you have their tea or something to sip. Yeah, but for me, I have that. And some cozy blanket because it's a bit cold here. So feel free to grab something as we proceed with the live. Hey, I feel like I have talked for nonstop for 5 hours. Anyway, let's proceed. Let's look at another benefit of personal development. And the last one, for that matter, it's better health and well-being. Um, Personal development covers our one aspect of our lives, which is mental wellness. And if you are working at that, if you are becoming better at how you resolve your issues, you become like your health is improved. There are no stresses, there are no anger issues, there are no resentments in your heart, and your mind is so clear. You're so, like, you know how to go about different issues, right? You know how to respond to different issues. So your mental well being is sorted. And I remember there's a conversation I was having, and we were talking about why taking care of our health is so important. God gave us a purpose on this earth. We didn't just come to exist, right? We have something that God has placed in us that we need to achieve. So, how do we achieve that if our health is not properly taken care of? How do you achieve the goal? How do you hit it if you're not taking care of your physical health? If your diet is somewhat, not okay, if your mind is not okay, if you are putting in a lot of things that like trash in your mind, how do you get to that goal? And personal development teaches us to take care of how our mind is. We take care of every aspect of our life, including our mental health, including our like general well-being, right? So for me, that is very important. It's very important to take care of those things because it's the avenue that God, if you are the tool that God is using to achieve that purpose, you have to take care of that tool, right? You have to make sure it has the capacity, a mileage. It doesn't get to a point where you can't be sent somewhere because your health is not okay. So I believe it's a personal responsibility to take care of our health because there's a bigger calling on our health that God has for us. So think about that as you are on that journey of personal development. And yeah, with that said, let us just look at some of the challenges that people go through when it comes to personal development. And now this is purely based on the poll that we shared on Instagram. If you are on LinkedIn, also I shared it too, so you can have a look at it from there. All right, so the first challenge was inconsistency. And a majority of us, I don't know if anyone would be okay sharing what they wrote if you are here and you participated in the challenge. But I know, like we said, 71% of us actually are inconsistent when it comes to their growth journey. And we want to see what causes that, inconsistency. Why can't you follow through with what you said you will do, right? And a question that I want to pose to us, just to respond to that, is how bad do you want it? And how fed up are you with some of the habits that you're trying to shed off? Just, think about it. How bad do you want that change in your life? Has it gotten to a point where you can't, like, you beat yourself every evening? You're like, I don't like how my life is turning out. I don't like how where I'm headed. I need to make a change. I need to have some improvements. Like, how bad do you want it? And how how fed up are you with some of the habits that you desire to drop? So for me, those questions were so important. And a little bit of a backstory. It got to a point where I was just fed up with how I was doing things. In one of the videos I have done here, I shared that I was so passive. Even when someone was talking to me, like 5 minutes later, I'll be like, huh, what were you saying? Like, I can't even recall what this person was saying. And just imagine how bad that is. You, as the person who is talking to me, I can only imagine how the perception they would have of me once we left the discussion. It got to a point where I was like, I need to do something better. I need to work on myself. Even in the aspect of relationships, I was not really good when it came to relationships because I didn't know how to handle them. I didn't know how to handle friendships and even romantic relationships. Like, I was just a mess, you guys. But I'm glad that I realized that and got on the journey. I haven't hit where I want to be, but honestly, I can say this journey has been the most fulfilling for me. It has been like one of the most the best things I have done for myself. So let's look at inconsistency. How badly do you want it? Thank you, Mary Ann, for responding. I see. Yeah, inconsistency is one of the things, like the greatest things that hinders us from working on ourselves. And the first thing that I know for sure, that stops us from being consistent is accountability, like lack of accountability. And we can look at it on two fronts: accountability from the goals we set for ourselves, and accountability from having no one, like, just to follow up on you. If you don't have any goals, like, if you don't have goals, honestly, it's like you are winging things. You don't have like a clear place you want to get to, and it might go well. Like, you're just there. You're not sure of how things will turn out. But with a goal, there's a way it just grounds you. You have like a very tunnel vision. Not like you're just focused on something. Your eyes have, like, you're clear on what you want. That is what goals do for us. And also accountability when it comes to the people around us. Do those people know what we want to achieve? Do they know that Dodo is trying to get to this point in the next 3 months, right? If they don't know, they will not hold you accountable. And it's so easy to slack off when there's no one who is following up on you, right? It's so easy to be like, hii kitu by this si lazima. And I remember before I got serious on this journey, there were times I would decide to do something, and like 2 weeks later that thing was off the table, like it was gone. I was not even following up on it. I was not doing it. And the moment I started having like goals, as small as they were at that time, and actually seeing I can achieve this thing that I wanted to do, it became so refreshing for me. And it was such a, like a light bulb moment for me, and I'm grateful for that. So that is one of the things that really hinders us from being consistent in things. Is there someone who is holding you accountable? Do you have goals? Do you have people that are holding you accountable? And the funny part about this thing is that they are not new things. It's things that we've had from discussions, it's things that we've had from motivational speakers. Different people talk about accountability, and it's there for a reason. It's there for, it's not just there idly, it's because it has results that come out of it. So I challenge us today, if any one of us is fighting with that consistency, get someone who can work with you, get someone who can ask you, how far are you with your book reading, how far are you with your weight loss journey, if that's what you're on, how far are you with your diet, are you now following through with the meal plan that you came up with, those kind of things. Have someone who is holding you accountable, and also come up with goals, and even feel free to share with them. And you see, the beauty of that is you will not be walking alone, because if you are involving someone, it means that this person also has to be on that journey, right? They have to be doing something on their end, because they won't feel confident to come to you if they've not seen that consistency in your life, right? So that's a challenge to us. Think about that next time. The other thing is taking on so much. Sometimes we take on more than we can chew, honestly, and it's so demoralizing. It's so we feel very less motivated to do something because we take on a lot and we don't have the capacity to do it. Why would you think that a habit that has taken you 5 years to build is actually possible to break in a month, right? It's a process, and you have to be willing to sit through it, to learn in the process. You have to be willing to be put through the fire, seeing whether you've actually overcome that habit. You have to be willing to go through hard times to confirm that actually this habit has left me. So you can't expect to be relieved of a habit, or rather to let go of a habit that has taken you years to build in 2 days. That's impossible, unless it's a god in intervention, which is possible, right? But I encourage us not to take so much more than we can bite, we can chew. Take on small portions and see yourself hit those milestones, see yourself achieve that thing, and then proceed to the next thing. You remember when we were talking about the benefits of personal development, we said that it builds resilience in us and gives us a lot of confidence. And confidence sometimes comes about when we can point back to an achievement that we've had. It comes when we can actually say, I set this goal and I have achieved it, right? So take on small things that can motivate you. Look at them as like small wins for you. Yeah. And then the other thing is understanding that it's a long term game. It's not something that is won in a day. It's something that is going to take time. It's something that it's a journey. Remember, we said it's an ongoing process. It never comes to an end. Once you have that in mind, it's easy for you to be like outage stress. You won't put so much pressure on yourself because you understand this journey will take me years and it will never come to an end. So inconsistent, if you are inconsistent in things, remember that you can get down and get back up. Don't be so hard on yourself because you slacked off a bit. No, it's a journey. Every day you are working towards becoming better. And if you follow some of these things that we are talking about, I promise, I know for sure they have worked for me. And I am still on that journey, still learning, still falling sometimes and getting back up. And you can do it as well. So it's a long term game. Just understand that it's a long term game. And every day there are new challenges you are picking up. Every day there are new interactions that bring up something you didn't know you needed to address. Maybe it's communication. And when you meet with someone and you realize, by the way, I'm not good at this, it's a point and an opportunity for you to start working on it. So it's a long term game. And then the other thing is comparison. We can't compare ourselves to people who have been there for years. We can't compare our step 1 to people who are on their step 3000. That is unfair, and it just kills your morale, honestly. So avoid the comparison game. Avoid even putting in yourself in a place where you would compare your life to someone. If you find those, if you find yourself in those moments, just disconnect from that thing completely, because it will kill your morale. It will kill that little light that was there, and you feel so discouraged, and then again you become inconsistent. So avoid comparing yourself to other people's journey, because your journey is so different. So understand you are on a journey, understand it will take time, understand that you need to have accountability, understand that it's not about taking more than you can chew, just small goals, and when you achieve it, go move to the next thing. Okay, and then now avoid comparison. Okay. um on the other challenge that people talked about, they talked about lack of resources. uh yeah, lack of resources was the other thing that was really was a big reason as to why people don't work on their self or their challenge to their personal development journey. And I wanted us to understand that resources is all about how we are uptaking knowledge, and also it's not about those things don't come to you. You have to go and find them. There has to be the willingness to go and find that thing that is going to make you grow. It won't just come to you. You can't be wanting to improve your diet and you're just seated. You have to do some research. There has to be, that's a cost you pay. Yeah, you going out there to find the thing that is gonna push you forward. So lack of resources, that's the other challenge that people talked about. And my question to you is, where are you, like the uptake of knowledge? Just understand that resources is uptaking knowledge. So where are you getting your knowledge from? Where are you sitting? Where are you feeding from, right? And understanding that you need to go for it. So are you going for it? Are you actually taking the step to go and find that thing? And I wanted to share with you some of my recommendations when it comes to resources and books. Books is one of the places we can go to. Books honestly are so rich with information, and there was a revelation I got at some point, and it was, when you understand like the power of books, you guys, you will keep reading them, because it's something that is compressed. It's knowledge that has been compressed, knowledge that has been acquired for years by the people who have written them, and they compress it in such a short read that you can even cover in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, how, depending on how quick you are and how interesting the book is. So for me, books are such a great resource. If you are struggling with finding a resource, start with a book. And one of the books actually is the Bible. And I know it's hard to like find a specific topic. The Bible doesn't say now we are talking about anger. This is how you deal with it. No, it's somewhere. It's in between. It's like an integration of many things. So you have to actually dig for it. And one of the things I do is, if I want to learn about self-esteem, I'll just go and Google, verses on self-esteem, and then I'll read them and see how they are applying to my life at that moment. So books are one of the resources, and the Bible is one of the greatest resources. And actually, if you don't know about this, the Bible has topics, like all the topics you can think about, the Bible has that, you guys. So it's a great resource for you to consider, if you don't have books yet. But just start with that for now. Go to the Google and search verses on this, and it will give you a ton of verses that will encourage you when it comes to different aspects of your personal development journey. And then you can also, as you are looking for books, make sure they are topic focused, as in they focus on what you are working on. If at the moment you are working on what public speaking, there's a book actually I was reading on public speaking. It was so packed. It's such a good book by Dale Carnegie, and he actually talks about those things. His books are a bit focused on specific things, so it's a great resource to think about. um Let me just type his name on the chat in case anyone would want to look it up. It's Dale Carnegie. I think that's the spelling. I hope I didn't mess it up. Yeah. So books is a great resource for us to start on our personal development journey. So think about books that are focused, like they focus on specific topics you are working on. If it's self-esteem, that's something to look out for. Google books that speak about self-esteem and include them in your library. Go and read them. And the beauty about books is they allow us to imagine things. They are more they cause us to imagine and create things in our mind, as compared to videos, because videos, everything is there for us, everything is spelled out for us. But for a book, you actually have to digest it, you have to think about the words. Sometimes you pause, come back to it. That's the beauty of books, if you ask me. And at the same time, videos are also good. Not to say uh, videos are not good when it comes to learning, they are also very resourceful. So on YouTube, you can find tons and tons of videos that talk about personal development. Starting with this channel, everything that you need to know about personal development is on this channel and other channels. So feel free to look them up. Find videos. Don't skip videos that are geared towards those kind of conversations. Be invested in them. Watch them. There's a lot to learn from them, and especially if it's people who are where you would want to be, right? And then the other thing is listening to things like podcasts, and I had written a few that you guys can go and check them up if you want to. One of them is called Rich Reflects. I'm just typing them real quick on the chat. So that's one of the podcasts, Stretch Reflects. And then there's another one that was called, this one I'm sure you've seen it before. It's called DOAG, Diary of a CEO. And then there's another one called In the Light by Dr. Anita Phillips. Such a good podcast. Someone actually recommended it to me here on YouTube, and I'm so glad. One of my supporters, my committed supporters, she was so encouraging. She shared that with me, and I went and listened to it and actually fell in love with that podcast. So good. Yeah, and then the other one is Sermons. This, I don't know whether it's a podcast, but just Sermons by, no, that one doesn't need to be typed, but just Sermons by Miles. I really, really dig those topics. He talks a lot about purpose, but there's a lot also to learn about personal development. And I remember those sermons really carried me through some tough seasons. Yeah, and not so long ago, and I found them so resourceful. So consider looking up sermons by Miles Monroe. So good when it comes to checking how our behavior is, how our habits are. Yeah, so that's another resource you can think about. And remember, these resources generally are about how we are uptaking knowledge, as we have said, right? So what are you seeing? What are you listening to? What are you thinking about? And the more you feed your mind with these kind of things, that's how you begin to think. Yeah. So be very careful with what you are taking in. Be very careful with the thoughts that you are entertaining, the things you're watching. They somehow get ingrained in our minds. They are ingrained in our minds, even when we don't know it. And when we are not even thinking about it, we start to meditate on them. So it's really important for us to check on what we consume. That's why lack of resources was there for me, because I knew it's connected to what we are uptaking and from where, from who, and how we are doing it. So minding what we see, minding what we listen to, and eventually that will affect what we are meditating on and how our minds are. Yeah. So, and then there were some of us who say they never really thought about it. Before we get to that, there's another resource I had forgotten, journaling. And as I saw here, there are some of us who do that, which is so good, because I think journaling allows us to do what? To reflect. And it's one of the ways we can improve our self-awareness. The more we journal, the more we are aware and in touch with our emotions. We are truly like in touch with who we are as people. So think about that. Think about journaling. It's one of the resources that we can never underestimate when it comes to our self-development journey, right? And now on to the last option on the poll was, I never really thought about it. There are people who actually say they never thought about it. And it's possible. It's possible to not think about that, because I wrote some of the questions that, or rather things we can think about if you are in that category. Could it be because you are content with where you are? Could it be actually you don't mind where you are right now? Maybe that's the reason why you never thought about it, right? And also, are you too busy that, like, you don't have time to work on yourself? You're so busy with other things that you don't have time to focus on your personal development journey. And then, like, do you lack the awareness about the benefits of it? Now you know some of the benefits of personal development. Think about those benefits. You can always go back and watch them if you missed that part. Yeah. Are you that kind of person who is not aware of those benefits? And then, are you overwhelmed with the idea of making changes? And I remember there was a video we did on this channel, and we were saying that change is inevitable. How do you navigate change? So feel free to watch that. As you can see, there are many resources on this channel, really, that can guide us in our personal development journey. Yeah, so those are some of the questions to think about if you are in the last category of people who never really thought about it. Are you content with where you are? Are you too busy that you don't have time to work on yourself? And do you have the awareness of the benefits of personal development? So think about those things next time. Yeah, thank you. I see a lot of feedback on the chat section. Thank you, Dante, for the support. So grateful for that. Thank you, Lazo. I see your support as well. You're getting these things. I truly am grateful for your support. Yeah, so that's what I had prepared for us, guys. And always remember that this channel is geared towards personal development. This is a resource. You can find very many videos. Maybe some are actually underway. There's a lot that I am intending to do. I'm intending to do book reviews of some of the amazing books that I have read so far, so that you guys can know uh, what to do, and like what books to read, and like have the resources, all the resources that you might need for your personal development journey. This is big for me. I truly hope to improve a lot when it comes to my life, my communication. I hope to improve my you know my relationships. I hope to improve my attitudes and how my mind thinks. Those are things that I am still working on, and it will be so amazing to have you on board, you guys. So feel free to watch these videos, feel free to engage and reach out to me on the different platforms. We can walk this journey together. If you are feeling stuck somewhere, leave a comment in one of the videos, and definitely get to relate with you on that, and respond to your question. So I'm truly thankful for you guys being here. It's already 53 minutes in, and I believe we can end it at that. It was my first live. Whoo, first challenge when it comes to live, you guys. It's been amazing. Thank you for your support and an encouragement to us all. If I have made it this far, if I have actually managed to do a live, one of the challenges that I knew I need to conquer when it comes to public speaking, you too can do it, right? I mean, there's no one who is going to bite you for trying something. So feel free to do what you need to do. Don't look to the sides to see how people are responding to what you are doing. Focus on you, focus on growing yourself. And I know for sure you're going to reap a ton of benefits from it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Alice. I see your love. Thank you. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, thank you guys. Feel free to leave a comment in case you didn't say what you wanted to say, because our live session is coming to an end and I have to end it at that. Thank you for being here. God bless you and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.